Two.
Okay. Welcome, everybody, to Friday Night at the Crib. I have put a link up in chat in case anybody would like to join the show.
Mhm.
I think we're going to try and keep the bounty discussion or the bounty review hopefully down to a minimum, since a lot of people probably don't want to hear much about bounty anymore until we get some more information from Kickside as far as how they might want to change it. To introduce who's here so far, and again, anybody's welcome to join. Magic Mike.
If it's steel, it may be curtains.
Yep. And Father George.
Evening, everybody.
Senior Daniel.
Hello, everyone.
Uh-oh. What happened to Two Doors? I think he's just...
Hi.
Oh, there he is, off to the side, just showing off the doors. That's all we could see there for a minute on YouTube.
Huh, because I saw myself lean back, but I never saw myself out of frame. Whatever.
Okay. Thing. And this is Hefe. So, again, I will post in case anybody would like to join. And,
Raptor.
Does anybody have anything they'd like to start with?
Steel curtain, baby.
Yeah, there was an announcement on the Battle Pirates Facebook page with a, let me see if I can bring this up in some reasonable way. One second, I need to switch some things around. But basically, it appears that the next prize, as a lot of people might have guessed, is for the skirmish cycle that is upcoming, and what appears to be a sub as the next prize. So that looks pretty sub-like to me.
Yeah, looks really sub-like to me. It looks.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks almost like. Does anybody have a picture of what the original Kraken looked like?
Yeah, it is Kraken-like.
Doesn't it look like it? I mean, that looks like it, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, maybe it'll be the Kraken 99. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Oh, Lord. What, is it not going to be able to turn and it'll run into walls?
Yeah. It'll just surface randomly and spin. Yeah, there's all sorts of possibilities for the ship.
I love you,
Liam.
As
far as defense mechanisms.
I love you, Liam, but you can't drive subs, dude. I'm sorry.
So are we calling this the suboptimal Kraken?
There we go. So, yeah, that's the breaking news for the last couple of hours. So, I don't know if we know enough to talk about it too much.
It is a raid. It is scheduled for the 14th, which was confirmed actually pretty quickly after the
last raid.
Raid. So more FM tokens.
Is it not All-Star Hall raid, right? Or All-Star raid?
Yeah, it's a giant tech store raid.
Yeah, it's going to be a store raid. The thing that I'm kind of actually concerned about, because I don't know, like, I think we asked right after the second raid whether or not we're going to have a third S target, right?
Oh,
because that second S target just was not, it was not good. It cut down your points per hour and the amount of points that you needed. It was just not, it just wasn't a fun raid, right? I mean, people liked it because it was easy-ish once you got the tricks and people had fun with it. But again, it's an automatic grind. The minute you start, it's an automatic grind, regardless of where you are in terms of end game or mid player or anything. It's a grind. And like, if they do put a third one in, man, I am praying that it's worth a buttload of points so that the top tier players can just get that damn raid done like we used to be able to, you know, or adjust the two that they have now to give us more points, so that, because it's a store raid, we're going to need points, you know.
Yeah, and just because it's a 6-day raid doesn't mean that we have all 6 days. Like, they put the raids over the weekend because usually that's when people have off. But when you add on, you know, a Tuesday and a Wednesday, we have work. We have to go to work to get money to maybe support this game.
Yep. And I do want to point this out too, because it seems people have not quite understood what the GDs have said in different interviews and stuff. I actually got into a pretty heated argument with this guy where he was insisting that they designed the targets, right, with the hulls as they were first released. And I'm like, that's not what they said. I mean, if you go back and listen to the interviews and stuff, they designed the whole complete thing, the end package, right? Which means the escalation weapon and everything. So everything in this last raid is going to be tuned for that. And then each month before that is tuned for easier things. They've said it was going to progress going by month to month. So every one of us who has been like, ooh, bounty, and oh, I want to do my PvP stuff, and oh, I gotta do the defense in my bases for rages and da. No one's had a chance to refit their damn Skyfires and Phoenixes, right? So I don't know how this is going to turn out in terms of damage and stuff, right?
So
I'm hoping that the mechanics stay the same and we have the same two targets, so that way we can actually just, it might take us a little bit longer to kill, but the damage won't go up.
well, I have good news for you in a couple of ways. One, the S target for the VXP weekend that was supposed to be the August VXP target, it's the 103. It's basically the same. The damage was increased a little bit, but you know what? That's sort of okay. Two, there probably won't be too terribly much more damage, considering we can't get higher defensive statistics unless we got more charged armor. But it's not like there's no escalation armor. The DPS difference between the escalation weapon and the current weapon is not very great, and most of it is in the critical hit chance when they're below half health anyway. So I actually made a conscious decision, and they're saying, oh, well, this escalation weapon, they're not going to be tuned for this.
Well, I think
I called them, and
Yeah.
I kind of hope they're bluffing.
I think they did a good job with the escalation weapons in that they were not too over the top from the previous weapons.
Like
right?
the D100V versus the D100S.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is too, is it's not so much, I don't think they're going to tune the damage up. What I think they're going to do is tune the armor up to balance out the new DPS and all that stuff, right? So we might see more damage if you don't drive well, but if you can kite well, you're probably not going to see any damage change. It'll just take you longer to do the target.
And that's
the way I'm looking, because if you're going to tune for something, right, and it's not armor, it's not going to be damage. It's going to be time in the target, right, which will translate to damage if you can't kite well.
I actually think, well, in this instance, comparing the Manus with the previous one, it is a fairly significant increase in damage over. I don't want to use the word DPS because I was trying to compare these, and I did a slide. I don't know if I can find it right now, but the actual DPS isn't a really good. It's not a really good stat because by the time it takes the what did I forget the other one? They both, Manus means hand, and the other one means
Talon.
Talon. Okay, they both mean hand. Okay, the Manus versus the Talon.
Are you thinking about one shot?
Well, yeah,
or?
Yeah. The first shot, the Talon isn't going to catch up with the Manus unless you're shooting at something for way too long. And so that first shot, the first shot attrition of that first shot, it's not going to catch up in a reasonable target. So it has been increased fairly significantly, because if you look at the first salvos or so, it's about a 30% increase.
Right. And the other thing to actually think about that too as well is, I've shown this in like old ass articles, but placement in your ship actually does change where the missile fires, right? Which means that you're hitting, when your missiles hit, they don't all hit at one time. It's a succession of hits, right? The successive hits through the whole thing. So if your first excuse me,
Nurse.
if your first hits bring it to that 50% threshold, and you still have a half a volley of missiles from your one shot, it's going to hit those crits. So that'll change as well. I mean, it depends. This is one of those really complex dynamic mechanics that time will tell. I mean, we'll see it when people get in there and try it and have the builds.
Yeah, I'm trying to put a combination of the optical, the new missile extender on some of them to basically, and try to mix up the missiles, hoping that I get like a solid stream that will help with retargeting and what associated with some of these things, so that it's you're not overdoing it, so to speak, overkilling a single target to allow for more retargeting. That's sort of what I'm hoping for, but I'm not sure that I'm actually going to be successful with it. But that's what my hope, by mixing up some of the missiles and some of the specials, because the optical there's, we got 150 some specials. I can't remember all of them, but optical something that also adds projectile speed. And then you have the different reload speeds of everything. So it'll be interesting to see how some of these builds perform relative to each other, because they've added some tricky dynamics, especially as it relates to retargeting on the drones and other things like that.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, I just hope, my biggest complaint last raid was just the amount of points that you needed as a end level player or end game player. And I hope that's really looked at. I really do. I think the TLCs actually are a pretty good step in the right direction. I'm glad they switched over to the M charged armor, right?
Yeah.
But man, tech store raid comes up. We're already assuming, like, what was last time when we wanted to get the Phoenix? How many points did we need to get the special, the Phoenix, and all that other crap, plus the gate? It was 140?
120?
120? I mean, that's just, God. That's
and then the charged armors. Yeah, you're not including the charged armors.
I'm not including the charged. Yeah, I'm not even including the charged armors. I mean, it'll be better this time so this is where that gap between players is going to show very, very well. In the next raid, I'm presuming we're going to get the new charged armor for the next raid set, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the next raid set's going to be, what is it? Explosive and corrosive? What's going to be?
No, concussive
and
explosive.
Okay, so concussive and explosive, right? So we get a concussive armor, say, right? The players that are endgame players, right, have done all of those TLCs and crap. They've stocked up. I have a ton of X armors, right? But the players that are mid-level players and were, trying to catch up or struggling, they don't have those X armors now, right? And I am praying, I am begging Kixeye, if you're going to put the X charged armors in the tech store raid, put them down to like 2 million a pop, man, because the guys that would coin to get them already got them. We all got those. Like, I have a dozen at least just sitting in I probably have more than that, right? I'm not going to be looking to get the charged X armor. But those players that have not gotten it, that are mid-level or lower level, that aren't endgame players, are going to want those things. Don't price them out of competition. You want them to play.
Yeah. I mean, but a lot of times what we've seen is they're afraid that those people that made the effort early and have a backstock of the X armors, they're afraid to. It seems like at times they're afraid to upset them.
We won't get upset. There is not a single player that has this crap sitting in their intelligence lab right now. I don't know a single one that we pissed off if that thing came out and it was 500,000 points, because we've already done it. We've had 4 months, 6 months up on everybody. We got our value.
I think you're underestimating the ability of people on the internet to complain. Well,
I
yes,
mean, come on,
man.
man.
You're
You
right,
want-
but I'm
if
just
you
saying
want-
they
if you
will
want the
complain.
game, if you want the game to play, right? If you want to play this game and you like the game, you want to have other players get shit too, so you have other players to play with. That's how the game works. So if there's one or two crabby ass bastards that don't want these people to get cheap X armor, get your head out of your ass, okay? Because
I was
everyone
going to
else that
say
can
is-
think on their own can understand exactly why I'm saying this. Keep it cheap. Get the players in there to play.
No, I completely agree with you, George, as far as your stance on this. I'm just saying historically how it appears that Kixeye has been acting relative to these sorts of things.
Yeah, they don't want to offend the coiners. And I'm just telling you, I don't know any coiner that's going to get offended if the charged X armor is going to be, 1,000,000 points or 500,000 points. Because I can guarantee you, if there's is it concussive? Is that what you guys just said?
Yeah.
If it's concussive next raid, and that's what they come out with the new armor, I can guarantee you that shit is not going to be no 1,000,000 points each, right? So the end game players are still going to have a leg up. But the thing is, you don't want to create concussive, whatever the fuck it is.
No,
You don't wanna
corrosive,
have-
by the way. The
Huh?
last armor? When corrosive armor was first offered, it was 12 million each.
Yeah. So, the end game players are still going to have the gap. But the thing is that back end of the gap, you don't want to make it bigger by making that charged X expensive to the point of no. It would serve no purpose. None.
Yeah. Yeah, and at this point, we don't really know with the design of the new targets, which is the somewhat avoidable damage. Is because a lot of times one of the damage types is more avoidable than the other.
Right.
So we don't know at this point which one. I guess we could assume maybe. I don't know. No, I don't want to assume, but maybe the new damage type would be the one that's sort of unavoidable, and the other one's more of a luxury. We don't know though.
I have a question since the new raid set's going to be coming up, and apparently we're having a sub, and it's something that Daniel said in the pre-show. Would you guys I personally like being able to drive like the Phoenixes and keep on moving and not have extreme punitive measures if I mess up in my driving, right?
Yeah.
But the offset to that is that we always take damage, right? Would you guys rather see the same type of raid that we have right now where you can drive like that and have a little bit of leeway, but you're going to take damage? Or do you want to go back to the very precise pain in the ass driving that we had when the Hell Race came out?
I mean, right now, I don't know that with maybe on the S sets, but I was really surprised. I started putting some Manus missiles and I didn't have the gut spill Phoenix during the raid because it didn't have enough rank or charged armors on it. But then I was doing the TLC that we were allowed to use them, and I was coming out with instant repair on the map.
Nice.
For doing those targets with the Manus and the gut spill. So yeah, I mean, instant repair on the map is damage, but I don't know that that's
Well, I mean, the thing is that the question is between the two options, right? Of precise driving and absolutely zero repair, or you have some wiggle room type of driving, and it's actually driving and moving, but you have a good possibility of sustaining repair time, right? Which do you prefer of the two types that they've presented us in raid sets?
I don't mind taking a little damage.
You want which?
I don't mind taking a little damage.
So long as you can drive and have some fun, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so long as it's not so exacting.
If I have the opportunity to do instant repair in the base or something like that, that is beautiful.
Okay.
If I screw up and take the damage because I screwed up, I take that.
Because I mean, I'll tell you, I like both of them, but I have more fun driving the Phoenixes than the Hellwraiths, and I mean, I know I can drive the damn Hellwraiths, but it was not after the first half dozen targets. It's it starts really getting on you because you're on the edge all the time trying to drive like that, right? Whereas with the Phoenix, you slip up a little bit, you're like, oh, okay, hold on a second, I took 5 minutes of damage there. Oh, I messed up here, and then you come out with 15 minutes of damage. You're like, all right, cool, I'm gonna go repair them, or I'll toss a coin at it, or I'll go have a beer and come back. I mean, I have more fun in this latter type of design. The only problem is that also makes the targets longer, which turns into that grind thing, and that kind of offsets the whole thing. So I'm very torn, but I just like driving better in the newer stuff than the Hellwraith stuff, because that was, I mean, it was fun figuring out the targets and all that crap. And
yeah, and Raptor brought up a good point. It also depends on your connection and how this is going to work.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, because if it's the exacting driving and you have, you know, any sort of lag spike, you're fucked.
This guy.
Yeah.
This guy.
Yeah, and so it's a real problem, and it's a matter of finding that balance. I don't know that they should swing to either extreme, but yeah, finding that middle ground is important, I think, for a good raid. As far as you know, do I take the extreme damage if I'm off by 0.2 distance, or like you would with the Hellrace?
Well, I think they did. Do you think they did a good job with the S targets that we have now? I mean, I thought they were pretty good.
Remember, again, I didn't have the guts bill. I had the guts bill built, but I didn't have any rank or charged armor on it, so I chose not to use it during the raid. And in the TLC, that was I've talked to a lot of people. It was very similar. The assault. What did we win from that TLC? I forget at this point. But like I said, I was able to do that for,
instant repair.
Instant repair.
I mean, I did a bunch of the targets. And I didn't really get a lot of points because I was really upset about the point requirement. But in terms of the targets themselves, I thought they did a good job in balancing, your ability to not, take just ungodly punitive amounts of damage. There was one turret in, I think it was the 103, that if you did lag as you were going up the side or something, you got just close enough to get shot and it would take out like half your fleet. And I think that's the only thing that I could find that was like really punitive.
Well, if you screwed up any of those targets and got in the Venom Spitter's way, yeah, you were.
Yeah, it was one of the.
The thing I absolutely hate is those freaking mortar things.
Yeah, the flaming cheese balls, which are explosive damage in an assault target. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
I put a Gale on.
Yeah,
I had one Gale on, but I was dry. At one point, I hit it from the wrong angle on one of them, and I'm doing fine. Boom, boom, boom. And then it was like 6 or 7 hours of damage for some random thing where I'm not even sure where it's going to land or whatnot. I don't like those sort of,
I very, very much dislike those. Yeah, I agree with that. Completely agree. They should get rid of those damn things.
And see, this raid cycle more has only made me appreciate it and hate everything else. Well, not Reaver Armadas, because I just fill them with the Tideseeker on auto, but like I'm going out to get base parts. And if I'm a little slow on a turret, I take like an hour damage from one hit from a 99 turret. The long range ones, like that's 120,000 damage on a single turret based on my resistances and deflection. 120,000 damage. Like we have 18,000 armor. That's not okay. That's stupid. And it's that, or it's, oh, my Zelos tank like lagged for a half second and kept moving in a 113 when I told it to stop, and now it's dead, so I got to leave. And my mortar line took backfire because I wasn't expecting it, and because they have accelerate, they're slow as heck to start, so that's more. So I took 6-7 hours of damage in the FM for nothing. Like those two things really suck, and they are made worse by the fact that I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. That is this thing making its way into the game where you take so little damage. And if you drive well, you can even mitigate that. Yeah. We're saying instant repair on map with the best possible stuff. Like, well, that's not really damage.
Yeah, the catch is, though, is that it's going to take a year for all of this to cycle into the game. If they keep on doing this, and I'm begging them to keep on doing this, because
this is much preferred.
Yes, the old targets, you know, while they were fun, they suck absolute ass as chore targets. I'm sorry. They really do.
Yeah, they need to like that compacted the old 109 in the FM, how everything was just kind of crammed in there and there wasn't too much dead space between one legitimate target and the next, whether it was a ship or a group of platforms like the OP in the middle. You're not like driving down a lane and driving back up the lane the other way. Like, that's bullshit. Nobody wants to do that. The
Well,
targets.
I mean, I don't mind if the target can be done in like, you know, 4 minutes, but the problem is with all the kiting and all the other stuff, they're not 4-minute targets.
Yeah, you're back and forth and you're circling around and it's Flight of the Bumblebee and you're trying to kill drones and look, my Skyfire fleet is done. Pretty much, well, minus 36 days for tokens. So thank you for that. So I'm going to try to run those into some hundreds and see what it do.
All right, Jeff. I think that's my job's done. I'm going to eat while you guys go. What did you want to cover next? Or did you guys have anything to cover next? I mean, I don't have chat up, so I can't see what anyone's saying.
I know Axiom turret's on the docket.
Oh, yeah.
You eat food and I'll stall and all. In case this wasn't the thing, Axiom turret, shoot it down somebody, going once, going twice. Axiom turret, okay.
OP
so,
is that.
The Axiom turret, the really, really cheap thing that made everybody enter bounty in like the last minute, and you got it for free. It's really good. Apparently, it's better than I ever thought it could be because I'm over here doing math, and it's like, yeah, you can get up to good concussive damage or whatever, but everyone's like, it's killing rages. Oh, the humanity. And it was in the retro lab for a day. It was out of the retro lab for a day. I kind of think we should go on the turret as a whole first before talking about the retro lab debacle. It's pretty good.
I don't know if that was a debacle. That was absolutely a good decision.
That
motherfucker is overpowered as it is right now.
To take it out was a good decision.
Yes. To put it in was not, but to take it out was an absolutely good decision. Now, if they want to put it in after OP10, you know, later on this year, that's fine. But
yeah, and just to start out, you know, about 10,000 damage a shot, and then you've got your expanded concussive charge, which is a standard special, and then there's a special that you could have also put on with it, but not everybody has that. Personally, I'm using expanded concussive and a defense special, and eruption pyre for projectile speed and splash without using a whole lot of power. AG transformer because duh, solar armors because why not? And there you go. That's your thing. It does all right. It's about 20,000 damage before your fire support kick in, before your overloaded reload mechanism makes the reload stupid good. All that sort of stuff. And I'm wondering a few things, actually. One is...
I was just saying, I know how I have one build that's a little bit different that is just horrendously killing things. Killing things.
You have, like, I don't even know what you have. You'll have
I have a very warped mind. Okay.
You have a very particular set of skills. Are you sure you're not that guy that's trying to break PP for Kixeye? Are you sure that's not you?
Pretty sure. I mean, I would love to be on the payroll at this point because Lord knows I can at least do this from a fucking hospital bed.
I mean, you kind of should be. You kind of should be doing this. You kind of should be doing this. This is the thing that you do. I mean, it starts out strong, it gets stronger. Based on what I've heard from people and what I've seen certain Emancipator builds do to rages, I'm not 100% sure that the duplicate aura cap 5 actually stacks 5 times. Because if it were, that would mean you'd have 60-some thousand ballistic deflection and 50% splash damage reduction. So if you put that in with your turret defense, you really shouldn't be getting touched by any Emancipator, unless you had like 50 fire supports on it and it crits, maybe then. In addition, you'd be taking a quarter damage with turret defense again from most splash-based things, but from what I saw, mortars do in my own base, and from what I hear from people on what the splash damage is, I'm not sure you get 50% splash damage reduction from 5 rages. But I don't have a lot of data to back that up. I don't have any data. I just have what I see with my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the whole thing about it got put in the retrofit lab under the same thing as the Maxim and the other concussive chain gun that was limited but nobody cares about now. Yeah, thank you. And then it got taken out, a day later? Because it never should have been in there. The idea for the retrofit lab was to help enhance older tech, and even the Hyena, I guess at this point, qualifies as older tech because there was the initial release of Tier 6 Conquerors, and then there's the turrets that we got through the various TLCs and maybe in a raid or whatever that are kind of supposed to beat them. And then we got a newer crop in the form of the Aura series, and there's all those auras and the Bloodthirst, and they're supposed to theoretically increase deflection so that the newer turrets don't work as well, but still work sort of well. So, because we haven't gotten a new set of turrets yet, we would need our turrets to become stronger, or things would shift in the attacker's favor even more so than they naturally are. And that's what the retrofit lab is supposed to counter. If you've got your turrets and you've got a good build on them, then you can hammer these out and you'll do okay against stuff that isn't specifically designed to counter your thing. The problem is the Axiom is apparently ripping everything to shreds. Legitimate citations needed. I hear word of mouth. I haven't seen it. I have no reason to believe these people are lying, but it's apparently way better than it should be. And putting it in a retrofit lab was a mistake because it's the newest thing out, and that shouldn't need any help. Not only is it doing its job, which is to go rages better, it's killing everything else. Even things with 11,000 concussive deflection on the Liberator, really hot. It shouldn't really
Survivor
being killed by it. Survivor, sure, it's doing its job too well, and it's killing everything, and that shouldn't happen. So they took it out of the retro lab, and they should have done that. Good job.
Yeah. It shouldn't have gone in there. But yeah, I mean, because it was extremely foreseeable, in my opinion, that at least with some testing that they would be able to see that what the eventuality was going to be by putting it in Sector 0 and putting it up to R15 and running it against stuff. I mean, it seemed easy thing not to do, or lower the base on it and include it in there. Take what percentage of damage and splash off of it, and then put it in the retro lab. So people felt like it was in there. I mean, I could see either way, but I'm just saying it shouldn't have been there in the first place. But I really prefer the way they did it after they saw their mistakes when it was in the live environment, as opposed to what they did with the muddle missile, where they tried to fix it in more creative ways, and then exacerbating that with the Inquisitor. But yeah, I give them kudos for taking it out, but it shouldn't have been in there in the first place. So I don't know. Does that make sense, Brian?
Yeah, and that's something they'll need to forward. I don't know if this just was an honest mistake because they were timing the release of most of the rest of these turrets. Like, oh, all the new turrets. And then some guy was like, this is a new turret. It goes in. But just be careful going forward. Requested per George, the Courage, the new Defender Hull. A lot of people, I think ironically, more people want it than were intended. I mean,
Yeah, I believe you're right.
I sure as hell don't deserve it.
Excuse me.
I am not good enough at the skill set they wanted to test to get the quote unquote top prize, but I got it. So there we are. It's blank in my shipyard right now. It's got pen deflection enough to stop the libs with the new missile. It's got corrosive deflection enough to stop, I hope, muddles. You'd like to think. It's got concussive deflection for reasons? Oh, side jump. The only thing I can think of as to why the concussive deflection is there is because they're wanting to have some defense against the Harlock Revenge plus Vendetta fleet. So I want to sidetrack into the Harlock's Revenge plus Vendetta fleet for just a minute.
Harlock's Revenge.
And I didn't see the whole blueprints of this. I don't even think I got the offer. But to the individual that built this fleet, that designed this fleet, stop. Just stop. Don't do this anymore. Go do something else. Just let somebody else do it.
Or alternatively, contact like some of the TFC admins and, take some of our builds.
Yeah, actually, let me look on the TFC page. I mean, I don't want to go too hard on the self-promotion, but yeah, it's just there were so many things wrong with the design of that fleet. First and foremost, I think the Harlock's Revenge flagship plus the choice of vendettas, that being the Harlock's Revenge buffs revenges, of which there are none other in the fleet. There just aren't. And so that was sort of a mistake. I can sort of understand it because you would have it buffs itself and something needs high deflections. And that's true. But this is in combination with the weapon choice. You gave it the concussive Gatling gun, which is the weapon that was released with it. Hey, fair. Not bad. Problem is, and I think this is the only one that had it, the secondary mode of this concussive gun, and I guess only this concussive gun, could not be used for remote targeting. So the weapon range ring of 104, whatever it was correct for the secondary mode, and I'm sure a lot of players that knew what remote targeting was would think that you could remote target off of this. And you couldn't. And I don't know if that was shown when they looked at the offer, if they could see the blueprint and read that on the gun, because they probably didn't own that gun if you're offering them the 2.5 stuff. But it didn't work. And there was an expectation, and a completely fair one on the part of the players, that they'd be able to use remote targeting with the weapon on that. Didn't happen. Bad. Vendettas, fine. Solid choice. I guess they had their standard weapon, the coax thing. Sure. That works fine. Unfortunately, again, it didn't remote target off of the concussive Gatling. But if I were to do that, I might have made it a Zoe's Vendetta plus Vendetta fleet, because a lot of walls block splash. There's a lot of easy ways to get explosive defense on a turret, with base parts increasing the turret level now up to max level. It's not so hard for someone to get something that is very long and complex for a Vendetta fleet to kill. You just don't have the damage. So Z-Vend plus Vens, maybe a Malice tank in the front, because that can gain a lot of the bonuses for deflections. So it's sort of a jack of all trades, master of none. That sound like a good tank to you guys? Yes, no? Chat?
I mean,
Somebody rec-
I tend to go defenders, so I'm just, I hadn't looked into some of those possibilities.
I'm just trying to think of the theory. A lot of people said that Malice was a good tank back in its day, and I don't see any reason why that wouldn't be the case now. You've got, 100 range to spot with. If you somehow got that one, the special that came with the Justice, maybe you have 105. I forget if the range bonus is on the hull or not, but you got 100 range to spot off of. You can get meteoric deflections. That's fine. You still got your flagship in there to actually make it cost, $10 because Vendettas themselves are cheap to build. Just that fleet was a disaster. And if I was a new player buying it to get into bounty, I'd be incredibly upset because it doesn't work. And there's nothing saying that it doesn't work until after you bought it and looked at the blueprint of the weapon, which you might not even do if you're the target audience for this. You might just understand it's a remote fleet and go out and kill stuff with it.
Mhm.
Okay. So back to the courage because it's still open in the top. Radio deflection, 66,000. I kind of want it to be 66,600 just for kicks, for the lulls. But that'll stop your any shots. That should stop your shockwaves, even if they have the radon breeder, which is 10% more. That's like 50,000. It's not enough. So you're taking minimum damage. It's got unreactive, which most things do nowadays, but it's still nice to have. I am very glad it doesn't move. So glad.
I'm going to tell you, I did some testing on this thing last night, and one, I haven't been able to actually shockwave on anything because it keeps killing everything first. So if anybody has a ship that they are willing to bring out so I can test on, I would appreciate it. And two, damn, these things are going to be deadly when they're ranked because that thing isn't even ranked and it's one-shotting so much crap. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I'm tired of it.
George, what world are you in?
Same world as you. Same world as you. He was shooting at me. He was blowing up my ships with the courage last night.
Yeah,
Okay.
yours and two other guys in the sector, and I did a couple more this morning, and I destroyed a rage fleet in my base last night. I mean,
I could bring in a spite, maybe. I don't know. Well, maybe tomorrow we'll do this. Because I have a spite with.
the spite is unreactive. It won't shockwave anyway. I tried that last night too.
Oh, you're not getting shockwaves on defense. Okay. Because everything dies. Well, balls. Okay. Thermal range of 100. For those of you paying attention, that's your meta missile range.
And that was your phone.
Hi. And that was a phone. It was.
Whose phone was that? Was that Mike again?
No, it wasn't me.
You sure?
Positive.
Mm-hmm.
Game of Thrones.
He doesn't have a phone.
God plays Game of Thrones. You'll hear it if it goes off.
Yeah, that phone was the courage calling to tell the meta missiles that it's coming for you. 3-hour repair time.
Yeah, but it's sort of what we're seeing with the defenders, and it's not. I don't know why. I mean, I guess they have the half repair time, but it's still not equivalent to the Conquerors. The Conquerors come in, they start with a base of 30 minutes, and that person knows when their Conquerors get damaged, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is,
if they're using it with bases, they know, so they could start that repair right away. As opposed to a defender with 3 hours of base and not knowing that you could be asleep when you got hit. So it seems like it ought to swing the other way.
Yeah. I think what they're doing is it doesn't exactly match up, but I think I can find a match for you. So the new throwers and the new launchers, you must have rad deflection. It is now a requirement, or you are the heck dead. So dead. So you need to put rad plates on, and each rad plate is a significant amount of repair time on both sides. And if you put the plates on, it's going to come out to, about 4 or 5 hours. But if you put the plates on, I've got 3 on Pride, if it will load and show me, 2 hours, 21 minutes with 3 rad plates. So another rad plate is about 3 hours. And if you have 4 plates on a defender, that's going to come out to about 6 hours. And there's your half time. It's all in line. It's not perfect because Hefe, you're exactly right. You don't start repairing as soon as your dock gets live, I guess would be the case for your guard fleet, but
Yeah.
in practice, they're about equivalent. In one strange metric that isn't how anything works, but I think that's as good as we're going to get.
But but I'm just trying to figure out why they're so long, because it seems like, how is a player, besides something like this, the most recent bounty, how is some player going to take advantage of a, well, I can think of one way. How is a player going to take advantage of a very short repair time on their defender? The way I do it is with my my Vanquisher in the Man of War targets. But besides that, there's not a lot of ways. You know, that 500,000 over, you know, whatever time it is. That's one sort of way to take advantage of it. But why do they have to be so long? I mean, to get, just so we don't coin them to defend our base? I mean, I guess.
To entice coining. I don't know if Kix understands this point just yet, but it has to do something back with the whole punitive damage. If you damage a player's fleet too much, they're not going to coin it. They're going to stop playing for the day. And, you know, it's like I've got 6 hours of repair on my cannoneers from this morning because I lagged for a second and got hit by the big old cannon in the middle. And it's like, well, I wouldn't want to spend money. I'll just go out and hit something or do something else. And I think that's kind of the same with, it's getting to be conquerors and defenders now, where unless you intentionally take a very large handicap, which is probably why the Radon Slinger is so OP, you have 10, 12-hour repairs on your Conqueror and Defender fleets now, just like you do for your PvE fleets, with charged armor on those fleets, by the way, which don't add repair time. So, you know, you could be adding a couple more hours if you want. I guess they just want a repair for a fleet to be 10 to 12 hours. Because reasons.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just seems that for the defender halls, I don't know, because it seems like, because your defender halls, you know, you may win and still be at a, you know, at a deficit relative to the player that attacked you. You may win the battle but lose the war in regards to repair times, even with the half repair slot.
The Pyrrhic victory.
Yes.
I just wanted a chance to use that word.
Okay. Should we move on to the channel defenses, the portals? Because
Sure.
I mean,
Kevin sounds like he wants to.
yeah, I think somebody just grabbed his parts. I don't know. But hey,
I
Ron, how are you doing?
I didn't even know he had joined, and I heard that giggle, and I was like, "Oh, Kevin's
Yeah.
That's pretty good, George. I like that.
The King's coin clamp might have grabbed him there.
Yes. I see it in, you know, I've been trying to clear something up as far as the impact of the Great Rampart on your damage protection and things of that nature. But
is this going to be the Great Rampart Charlie Brown? Is that what you're going with?
No, I don't really have a joke associated with it. But more what I was talking about as far as this is, you know, if you look at the level 2, which is what 6,500 or 66.5 million armor points by itself, I'm still yet to get. I'm clarification that I'm certain of regarding the Great Rampart, if that counts as an armor plate that would count towards your percent damage related to your damage protection, your bubble. But if you look at it by itself, it's each one of those level 2 portals is it's at 6.5 and 1.2 for a turret. We're looking at over 5 turrets per portal relatively. So your bubble mechanics are going to change drastically, especially if you have 2 of them.
The portal is 6.5. The Rampart adds 2.5.
Yes, but
so that gets you to 9 million.
Yeah, but okay, if we assume it works that way, that's what I'm trying to get clarification on. If we assume it works that way, then 2 level 2 portals with the Great Rampart equals, in regards to the bubble on your base and the percent damage, would equal 15. But what I'm saying is, I am not certain that the Great Rampart acts like a base armor or if it acts like a armor plate. And so that would make somewhat of a difference. I mean, it's a difference between 10.88 versus 15. But I'm looking for, I mean, I don't know that fact. Well, I might know it now because I just got a message related to that, but I'll get back to you on that. But it's significant to your bubble, and I think it's really telling what's going on with OP10 as far as what we should expect out of our turrets. If one level 2 portal by itself, naked, is 6.5 and equal to over 5 defense platforms, you know, I would expect at least a doubling from a level 8 to a level 9.
Oh, you're trying to figure out the math going forward into OP10.
Yes,
Yeah,
because
I see. Yeah, all right. I feel
that's
you.
actually, yeah, that's pretty consistent with the most recent turret health increases are generally factors of 4 or 5. It was 250,000, now it's about 1.2. So maybe it will be 6 million next time, and then that 18 million won't make too much of a difference. And then fleets come to counteract 6 million point turrets. And then we all start crying, and I like blue screen of death because there's too many zeros at the end of these numbers.
Well, everything gets an escalation, right?
There's escalation, and then there's exponential growth faster than Moore's law. And I start to have a problem with the latter. Sorry. I don't know what I tried for there.
I need some ship build tokens. Someone send me some ship build tokens.
What are you trying to build?
My second courage.
Mine
Well,
is
I
6
have good
days
news
away
for you,
from all
George.
weapons.
Next week.
Next week. Yeah, thanks. What do you mean next week?
FM. You get 2 rotations of all tokens.
Zip it, you. It'll be out by then.
Haha. Coin it, baby.
Fuck no. I don't
You
got
use
that
the
kind of
tokens
coin.
for your refit. Pick your
If I
favorite
could
refit.
coin, dude, if I could coin like some of you guys coin, I would be just, oh, I would be having so much fun in this game. I'm going to tell you what.
Yeah, but, you know, if you get to that point, then it gets boring. It's still more fun to have base defense, which we don't have.
We do
Well,
now.
I guess we do now.
We sort of have it now.
We have it now. Let me tell you what. Because this is an old-ass base, and it's doing fantastically with just 2 additions.
Well, you only got 2 of the new turrets?
Oh, I only got 1 of the turrets.
What's the other addition? The Courage?
The courage, yeah.
Okay. So, theoretical range on the sonar. Are you putting sonar outside the base, inside the range circle of the Courage? Or what are you doing? Where are you placing it?
I still got them on the outside of my base. If they get anywhere in where the courage can see it, then they're gonna get nailed by so many damn. Yeah, it's just it won't be pretty.
They are the heck dead. So dead.
I haven't, knock on wood, I haven't been hit since I put them in.
I've been hit a whole lot of times because somebody decided to snipe my fleets during the event, and so I've been having an animated discussion with their alliance. Yes, we'll go with that.
Which alliance?
It's who the hell are these guys?
Are they Trojans?
Trot D. TROTD.
I had to trots once.
I've had like 3 of them go, "Oh, you're hacking. No, Prides can't get in. I'm supposed to be able to get in this base and da da da." I'm like, dude, I did the entire thing with Prides. I did the entire event with Prides. I wasn't like Daniel farming the PvE target. So like, I actually legit hit with fucking Prides. With the bug and everything, which really pissed me off. And that
that's hard mode there.
Huh?
I stopped using my Pride with that bug. Like
that bug is a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
I hit another base yesterday with my Prides, and the bug is still going on.
Yeah, you know what I do now is if I see the stun things, I'll put 2 Prides near each other, right next to each other. So all you got to do is drive them both close enough together, and then separate them again, and you get Prideful back.
Oh, because you never had Prideful to lose.
No, you lose it. It resets it or something.
Oh, okay.
And you take a bunch of damage that you shouldn't take because you lost Prideful when you shouldn't have, and it stayed gone until you could get the other one close enough and then apart enough so Prideful would come back. I'm taking a ton more damage than I should be, but it's still doing pretty good until I run into a base that has one of the new turrets. Then I'm screwed.
So, ETA for concussive plating. We still don't have a corrosive one yet.
Yep.
We still don't have a corrosive one yet.
And we definitely need the corrosive one.
That's why I said it twice. Would be nice to not have my Harlax Alpha just die. But, whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. There's been some really bad bumps in the road, but they're like, I want to say that they're actually doing pretty good because like the raid stuff has been solid, right? The Phoenix and the Skyfires have been solid. The targets have been okay, like they're not super punitive like the other ones were. Bounty was messed up. I mean, let's admit it was messed up, but it was still fun. And they tried to make good on it after, right? The only knock is that they were not voluble to the community, right? They just should have. Is that the right word? Is voluble the right word? They were, they didn't engage the community over the weekend. That's the only knock I think at this point that we can give them for that thing. I mean, I don't know.
Pro tip, George: if you know sufficiently smart word and you can deliver it with enough confidence, no one will call you on it.
Yeah, but I'll call me on it. I want to make sure I'm using it right.
Well, I'm about to learn a new word then. Can you spell it?
Voluble, VOLUBLE, I think. I suck at spelling, man. That's why I have spell check. But yeah, I mean, the only thing that like I'm really hoping that they're rolling on into like actually learning from what's going in the past, right, and taking it and using it in the future. And I'm hoping that I see in this next raid, like, not a need for me to play 40 hours for a raid.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just telling you, that was the biggest fucking turnoff in the last raid, that I literally walked away from the damn computer in the game during the raid. In the middle of the raid, I was like, screw this. Like, I would get on and be like, oh look, there's a mountain to climb. Fuck this, I'm going outside, right? And I love playing the game, but man, I don't want the game to feel overbearing, and that's what the last raid had felt like. That's actually a good word. That's exactly what it felt like. It was a little bit overbearing, It was burdensome, and I want it to, like, I want it to be fun. You know, I know that after a couple of days it's going to feel grindy, but it shouldn't feel grindy the very first time I log in and look at what I need for points, you know, or when I figure out how much time I actually have to invest to get what I want. That's I think the next area that they gotta poke at. I have a good feeling about the next bounty. I mean, I think they're looking really hard at all the stuff that we had done. Because
Where do you get your information from
which information
about what they're doing with the next bounty?
I don't know what they're doing with the next bounty. I know that they're. I mean, they've said that they're looking at all of it.
As long as they don't have a defender hole.
How's this? The stuff that they say, because I know some of the guys, right? And I know how passionate they are about the game and what they do. Like, if they say something, like, I know that if they're like, oh, we're going to review this, and this, I know that they're really looking at that shit because something annoyed them, or they wanted to fix it, or they were like, fuck, I screwed something up. I don't want to do that again. I mean, it's a combination of both, you know, personal knowledge of the person and what they've said. You know, so I can make an educated presumption, whatever you want to call it.
Well, I'm going to speak to a feeling. They haven't said anything. They haven't communicated anything. But it seems like they're reacting to situations internally faster than what they have before, since Rampage has been on board. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
I think it depends on the situation.
They got the uranium out today without even sending in a ticket. And, you know, honestly, it was fairly quick, if you think about it, compared to their previous track record.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it came out.
Yeah, I think that's part Chris, and I think that's part Steven and Ryan. I mean, I think the thing is it seems like they're trying to organize themselves into one big cohesive team, which actually will help, because you know, in the past, how many times we said, you know, the left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing, right?
Yep.
I mean, we've said that so many times, and now it seems like, I don't want to say that they're reacting faster. I think that they're reacting better. I think that they're starting to form like a cohesive unit. So I hope that continues. I like I said, I like a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing. You know, I mean, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to criticize when I find something to criticize about, though.
Well, no, I'm not. You know me.
I mean, because Rum's happy with uranium, but I mean, like, I'd be fine get the uranium and a 24-hour research token for each level, because that's at our level, at our tech level, uranium's not a big deal.
No.
The research time is a much bigger deal than the actual uranium. So they did give us something, but probably not what we needed.
Well, no, I agree with you completely. I mean, getting the uranium back without having to ask for it was a nice step, but I would rather them say, okay, here's the research token. We're not going to give you the uranium back because it would cost you that much anyway. And let's face it, most of us are going to hit the 50 to 70,000 uranium research items anyway. Most of us.
Yeah, I just auto the little ones, and it's all good. You know, you can auto a bunch of stuff at the same time with different fleets and do pretty well. And, you know.
Yeah.
You know, there's certain things you can't auto, but you know.
That's what I'm saying. The uranium is not the issue. The time would have been nice. That's 48 hours or more, depending on what you did. Mine actually was probably 72.
Had you guys sent in tickets?
No, I did not.
You sent in? Did you get an answer to your ticket?
Yeah, I got an answer to a ticket, and I've responded. I think they actually. How much did? What level were you on them, George? Did you file a ticket?
I actually did not start them. I was concentrating on other things because.
Is anybody that was at level 1 on the chain guns that not file a ticket know how much uranium they got?
Well, that's why I have 410,000. What the hell?
yeah. Okay. What level were you at?
I did level 1. That's
You,
it, and I didn't send in a ticket.
Okay,
I
so it
can't.
appears that you got on the forums. It says it looks like you got 75K. I got 150K at level 1.
I got a little more than that.
I think I got 150 because I wasn't capped. I had spent some
Right.
time rolling for cruise.
And that's what I just read on the forum. It says that it was increased to 150,000. The compensation was increased to 150,000 uranium. If this exceeds your holdings, in this case, you will be able to hold the excess. Because I'm at 475,000, and I think I wound up getting 450,000 uranium because I'd done 3 levels.
Okay. Yeah. So you did your some accounting after we talked earlier.
Yes, I did.
Okay. Cool. So it seems like, besides the time, the uranium was compensated more than fairly. It's just the time that was potentially an issue for people. So, all good. So, any other topics that anybody has at this point, or?
Yeah, glitching base part skirt targets.
Uh-oh, that's relevant to my interests.
What's
going on?
What was that?
Oh, I did file a ticket on that as well.
Those suckers are glitchy as hell, or
Yes.
laggy is what I should say. And I mean, I got a computer that hardly lags at all because it's got a ton of RAM and everything. I run it clean, and I can't do. Well, we were trying it yesterday, right? It's on their end. There's something wrong on their end.
Yeah, I mean, because those targets have changed for me significantly.
Yep.
At least with the 52 or whatever, and there's another one because I was able to run the 60 something because I like the 52. I think it's the 52, the 50 level base. That it's just a freaking mess. I mean, you try to drive and you're going through the walls, backwards, forward, and I got 9 hours of damage when it should have been no damage, not even instant repair, but just no damage.
Right.
And then I moved, because it has all those walls that are popping up. But before, I didn't have an issue with the walls popping up causing this much lag in the game.
Right.
And I don't. It's horrific. I mean, I just I gave up on those targets because it actually cost me the same amount in damage as it was to speed up a turret, equipping a turret. So I just like, okay, 9 hours of damage for, yeah. I mean, but I went to the 60 something, which doesn't have as many walls popping up. It just has individual turrets popping up, and I was able to run through that with no damage. So I guess I'll move to that until they fix it. But I had no problems during the raid. I had no problem. That was my favorite target. I was running that with one cannoneer. No, no, actually it wasn't, because this is a B target.
Mm-hmm.
It was an A target that I was hitting all the time, but it had a similar thing where a lot of walls were popping up all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
So something has changed. I don't know what it is. That the walls popping up are, creating a much more lag than they were previously.
There's a problem in the dock too when you're repairing and you try to stop a repair to go to a different one, maybe.
Oh, that one is so freaking annoying.
Yeah. Well, you also have the problem where if you let something slow repair and it ends and you're looking at the dock, you got to reboot.
Yep.
0 seconds.
Yeah.
God.
Well, there's stuff left over from I'm thinking the last update or the bounty that they still haven't found.
Yeah, the prideful one.
Yeah. It
interesting.
seems like certain things got rolled back. Certain bad things got rolled back, and now we have them again.
Well, there are probably going to be some problems. Although, I'd like to think, and this is part of a bigger thing that's kind of game wide, but I'd like to think that there wouldn't have been those PvP mistakes in a PvP event. But not even just the problems with the bounty event itself. It feels like a lot of people are liking the raid cycle more, and a lot of the positives that we have to talk about are in PvE, and a lot of the negatives are in PvP. And
Well, that's where their focus has been, is on PvE. So
yeah,
if
and
something happens in PvE, they're not keeping, or PvP, they're not keeping up with it.
it's
Yeah.
interesting because you'd like to think, well, while a lot of players do play PvE, and it's almost kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy now that they put such a higher time requirement in seat time and shipyard time into preparing for these PvE raids into the game, they kind of drove down the coining of PvP. And what I
Sure
wonder
they-
about that is, are they not making themselves as much slaves to the whales as they used to? But that sounds dumb as soon as I think it, and that can't, there's no way. But it's just, I wonder about the resources in the company, how they're allocating them for PvE and PvP, and what resource allocation each gets based on like the perceived amount of coining, either internally or by the community, and how much they actually get, only accessible internally. How much money do they get from coining PvP versus PvE? It's an interesting question to me, and I'll never know the answer, but it's like, is it really good that they're focusing on PvE? Because you'd think a lot of money would come from PvP, but
Well,
maybe it doesn't.
The
Not as
other
much as
thing
you
you can
think.
think of is the guys that are quote unquote whales. They want to be able to auto the PvE targets so they can get back out and do PvP. So they're still building it, and they're building both fleets, obviously.
But I finished my Skyfire fleet. I didn't spend any coin. I used tokens and BB crews. Sure, and those are different costs, but I was able to get them done before the third raid of the cycle. And if someone coined, I'm sure that they could have, well, or if I just work things around differently, I'd have them all skulled and like everything perfect.
Sure, but if you don't do the multiple TLCs, which again most of the guys are, then you don't have tokens to do the escalation refits. We've already got what escalation for both fleets now, a new missile and a new UAV.
I'm intentionally choosing not to do the escalation refits.
You are, but if it's a benefit for the whales, they'll coin it. If they don't have tokens.
If you want to spend, 16 days, whatever real time, or what is that, $90 on a 10% increase in the fleet. Okay.
Nobody said the guys with coins had the most brains.
Well, that is a thing that you can do. And
Kevin is a prime example. I'm just saying.
Bite me.
if you like the game,
I can run my prides right up your tailpipe too, buddy. But I wouldn't.
Whatever.
Bring them. You can sure try.
Usually you'd ask permission first, but
or a glass of wine.
And you freaking muted me.
Is the glass of wine the glacial, so they go in nice and slow? Anyway. I am so fired. If someone wants to spend that much for that much of a benefit, okay. I'm not sure you had to, but if you want to, cool. It just weirds me out sometimes at some of the things that they do. And for what, it's different than coining, like, I coined this rage fleet. Okay, sure. I'm going to be awesome, and I'm going to go, like, punch everybody in the face until the end of bounty, which was what? 2 weeks? 3 weeks? Until people get the Courages and Axiom turrets out, which I have 2 Axioms out now, and I have just sort of been not even trying with base parts because of bad classes. Like, it's very, very strange. But, whatever.
Yeah, just so you know, if you don't hear Rum or George, they're running some sort of muting war against each other.
I'm just curious.
I think you should both stop that at this point to allow the show to run
it's
more
all in
smoothly.
good fun, relax.
I know,
So
but
look, everyone that
but the people watching have no idea what's going on. So
no, that's true. Well, you just explained it all to them, so you know.
Yeah, you did.
Dinner theater. Anyway, so those people that have not finished their rage fleets, right? Are you going to finish them, or are you just going to stick them in the corner?
Nope. Rip. Dunzo. 4 shells. And that's all they will be.
Because that cannon, the Axiom came out, like I saw the blueprints, when Bounty started, and I had 4 days left on my blank Reyna. So I have a full fleet of blanks that are just gonna sit there and rust now.
Someone was saying
about that.
I read a post that they were talking about somebody had done something to their rages that they were getting into base without dying.
Oh, yeah. I think I answered that question, and the answer is warplating.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only answer. I mean, unless they're
Yeah.
all idiots and put on, like, res cap and, like, unless everyone else somehow put on res cap without the flag and they don't have the turret defense, but that's the only thing is warplating.
Warplating speed. I mean, that's the thing, is the thing only has 20 splash, right? And you have 50% reduction. So
yeah, I mean, well, speed is usually pretty inherent. I mean, I guess if you want, you could Magnus drive versus speed system, but you're not going to put on V armor, are you?
No.
I wouldn't.
No. It's probably warplating 3, 10% splash damage reduction, and that adds up along with the rest of the fleet.
Yeah, because it is tricky with. I mean, that was one of my conundrums as far as how to build the courage. The thrower versus the launcher, because the launcher is, if you're putting warplating on, the launcher is going to eat right through it. If you put the thrower on, then it's going to be impacted by that. And so, and then you got to look at the totality of what's attacking you. It is tricky because it seems like rad plate and warplate are the two that you need to deal with at this point as far as conquerors that are attacking a base and what those trade-offs are going to be as far as what your defenses are going to be, because the Axiom is splash, the thrower is splash, but then the new launcher is going to be not impacted by that, and then the hyena is not going to be impacted by that, and then the phlogiston, if it ever freaking works, is not going to be impacted by the warplating either. So it seems to be like a balancing act for people, and I guess we just need to see where it plays out at the end of the day, I guess.
And that's what they've said.
Yeah, you just backed into the phlogiston meta. You just created it.
There we go.
You got there.
And that's what they've said before in the past, that's what they want for base, for PvP, is to be a little puzzle type of game. You've got to be kidding me.
What?
All right, here's a public service announcement, folks, right? If you see me hit your base, right, with pride, and I'm running a crew called, Dragon Slayers, I'm not hacking. I'm not a hacker. There's a reason why I'm using that. It's for the reload, okay?
You actually just want all the Zinth.
I just don't understand.
You're kind of a scrub. You haven't upgraded all your walls. You want all the Zinth you can get.
Of all the things to cause some... Oh, my Christ. Okay. So...
Oh, also public service announcement.
God damn it.
You cannot put any charged armors on a courage. None. They're all illegal. And yet I've seen 5 questions almost in a row asking or saying that, yeah, I put charged M on the courage. That's good, right? No. Illegal. Try it and fail. I don't know why you'd put it on there anyway. It's got 32,000 pen deflection. I think you're fine.
Happy hyenas.
The offensive hyenas.
Happy hyenas, yeah.
Dude, there's some hyenas. I know that I got a couple that do some significant damage.
Yeah, but you're still not putting it on the courage.
Oh, I know.
No, it's true.
Although I would love to see like a ship. Oh,
With a
you guys
hyena on
remember
it?
the Arbiter? You guys remember the Arbiter?
Yep.
Yeah.
Here's how they bring back the Arbiter, right? You
Deflection
can put a turret
bypass?
on it. You
Oh God, Brian, just stop.
They
You
need
put
to
a
bring
turret
back
on it. That's how
tactical
they bring it back.
They need to bring
You
back
have a
tactical
hyena
launches.
moving really slowly
Yeah.
in your base on offense. In the base on offense.
If they bring out a hull, maybe a
I
Conqueror
never
or
said it was
whatnot,
good.
that had like a 20% range to tactical fields that you put on, that would make those tactical fields work better. No?
I'm done with tactical fields.
I mean that was. Oh, that's right. I unintentionally triggered George. Oh, I'm kind of
Why?
sorry.
Why? What did I miss?
Oh, nothing.
It's fine. We'll tell you when you're older.
Oh shit.
I'm only
We
a
just
year
got-
younger than you.
We just got +1 watch back because now he's gonna go back and look.
I'm trying to figure out who I want to hit.
Come on down to 217.
I don't want to jump. I'm lazy, dude. Come on. I don't even want to hit. I'm just hitting to prove a point. I mean, don't set my shit during a damn event. Especially when we have like a peace treaty with you little stupid bastards. Backstabbing fucking cunts.
I mean, not anymore. You don't.
Not anymore, we don't. There's a whole lot of bubbles up there.
One thing I've noticed is, you remember when hyena missiles used to be in fire support missile turrets in the retrofit lab, and when they put them back, instead of putting it back in the fire support missile turrets where I have it at R15, they just create a new one, and it's exactly the same thing.
Well, I think that's what they actually originally intended, to just have it separate. A lot of the stuff is going to be doing that, I think.
Oh,
'Cause it makes sense. I mean, you want people to do that,
My retro lab matters for the next like few months. I'm happy about that.
I thought they were gonna abandon the retrofit lab. That's what they said about 6 months ago, didn't they?
Not exactly.
I mean, this
they
would
were
be
gonna-
a nice,
They said they were going to look at it again, but a lot of the stuff that had been coming out at the time had already been kind of buffed up there where it didn't need to go in. And now that we're getting to the next OP level, to OP 10 level, I can see them going, okay, yep, all right, this is going to be interesting. This base has, damn. Sorry, I have to concentrate for a second.
Well, get Hefe to broadcast it.
No, I'm good.
Performance anxiety, dude.
I don't get performance anxiety. Where does he have? He doesn't have
You
anything
get
on the
lag.
outside. Okay, I do get lag like crazy.
which is
But
the game's
I don't think
version
it's
of
gonna-
performance anxiety.
Sorry. That was hilarious, though. Yeah, damn, that courage hurts. Holy crap. I got
Reporting
it.
live in the
I
field.
got it. Yeah, I got it. It completely wasted one of my prides, though. Damn.
One shot.
No. I made it through. Well, I think it took 3. I think it took 3 because the other 2 are fine. I mean, this one has like about 5 minutes of damage on it. Yeah, I got him. I lost the pride. That's an unranked one. Just like messed up one of these prides that usually walk all this crap.
So I'm gonna go get dinner. So George, you carry this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm good, man. I have to actually go take my medicine and lay down because
Yeah.
holy crap, I'm not even supposed to be doing this tonight.
Do you have rad plates on? 3 rad plates on, or you got a mix?
I thought we've covered this. I don't share my PvP builds anymore because too many people come and hit me with it and then leave me a nice note going, "Hey, dude, thanks for the build." Ha 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 ha.
Actually, that's probably another good PSA. People are like, "Oh, what do we build with rages? What do we build with the courage? What do we put on the axiom?" I mean, you might get some really generic stuff. Like sometimes Reno put out a video, like he put out a video on rages. And a lot of people don't like to share their PvP builds because it, just like George said, it can be used against them or it can be used in particularly devious fashions. Like there is something at stake when you share those kinds of builds. So,
oh, dude, I'll flat out say when the prides first came out, I was like, oh, this is kind of a cool looking build, right? And I posted it up on TFC. No shit, 2 days later, I got leveled with it. And the guy literally sent me a thing. Dude, thanks for the build. That was awesome. Great, dude.
And
awesome.
there we go.
And that happened like another 4 times.
That's why you could get leveled by, trying to be helpful and giving advice. So yeah, probably won't get it. Just
always fun.
Just think about the ship and what it's trying to do. The columns of numbers actually help. So if you just like read the blueprint, you know what it's trying to do. Do that. It sounds really simple, but it's better than what you guys got. You guys just fat finger some post and slap it up on Facebook and it took you 10 seconds to post it. Go read the blueprint. Give it a shot in Huggies. Post something up. Maybe we can help you then. But
hey, I mean, look, a lot of this isn't,
It's in rocket science.
I mean, no, it's not. I mean, I enjoy coming up with some of the stuff, but I don't think that it's a unique trait,
I wasn't wanting you to give me the build. I was just wanted to see. I just wanted to that you were maxing out the. I just wanted to ask if you maxed out the radiation deflection. That's all. But
okay. One thing I am going to do, because I brought it up earlier, and I think everybody needs to be, that's watching, should be really aware of the impact the portals are going to have on their bubble and the design aspects of that. Larry has the base survival calculator, and I'm going to have him update that. If he doesn't update it, I'll update it. So, because it's going to be tricky, because I mean, it seems like those portals have the potential to just create a bubble by themselves at this point until we get OP10. So it could be really, really crucial to base defense. I'm not sure how it's going to work in bounty because of the long repair time. But take a look at the page. We should have it up before the Wednesday show as far as how to calculate what's going to go on with your base especially once you upgrade those to level 2, which takes a good long time unless you have plenty of tokens or coin. But it's a massive change. That's why I keep on bringing it up to people, that it's something that you need to look at with your base design as you upgrade them and how you place them inside of your base. And when we do have the after show, I have gotten a request from Calamity Jane to join us. So if anybody would like to talk to Calamity Jane, he's available for autographs, selfies with him, whatever you would like. I think he's up for all of it. So just throwing that out there as a special, special enticement to join the after show once we get there. I'm not sure that we're wound down on all the topics, but I'm just throwing that out there for everybody.
Well, that's all I needed. Bye-bye.
Before we stop going live too, they may be trying to roll out some updates, like a rolling update, because I'm messing in the shipyard, right? I mean, in the dock right now, and I'm stopping and starting different repairs, and it hasn't frozen yet.
Really?
That's good.
Okay.
And like 10 minutes ago, it was, so.
Yep. Good.
At least they fixed that, please. At least fix the dock.
So they might be doing like rolling updates right now as we speak. And on that note, I do have to go too. So have a good night, everybody. Enjoy. Are you ending the show? I'll stay for like 5 minutes if you end the show.
Okay. Well, Toxic just showed up. I'm not sure if Toxic had.
I want the autographed T-shirt.
Yeah. You want the autographed selfie with Calamity Jane? Yeah. Okay. If that's all you showed up with, I guess I can end the show because I think the rest of us are sort of talked out on some of the topics.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody, I will post the link on the right-hand side one more time in case that's enough enticement to get you to join the show. Raptor will show up too. Yeah, he'll be taking selfies with Calamity Jane. So I guess I'll stop the broadcast at this point and proceed to the after show. If nobody has anything else to say.
I don't want to complain anymore.
Nope.
Okay.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thanks for coming out.
Good night, people.